Hey Covalence friends. So I had a ton of fun doing that Selenium video where we scraped the network request to see the current day's answer from Wordle and then used Selenium to autofill it. In this video, I'm not going to use Selenium. I just wanted to kind of extend that network request interception functionality to where we can maybe extract the future answers for a large period of time. So if you haven't seen that previous video, go ahead and check it out. Go look through our channel. Go ahead and subscribe while you're there. It's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy that. For this, I'm going to go ahead and just take the code that we previously wrote for Selenium, and I'm going to blow most of it up. Let's see. Really, the only thing that we do need to preserve is the date formatting, and it's because they utilized the day's clue using your locale date, but they have everything in ISO format on their API, so we kind of have to do some manual work to get everything transformed in that format. But what I had planned is we just need to reassign this within a loop and then like create an array of URLs, just incrementing the date by one day each iteration of the loop. And then you can take those URLs and use something like promise.all to just do a bunch of network requests. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start giving that a shot. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with like 7 days, just do 1 week's worth. And then after that, we can keep on testing out and see just how long they provide answers in advance. So we want to change our date to a let, not a const, because I do need to reassign it. At the end of each loop, I do need to increment our day by 1. And we can do that really easily with the date class, utilizing its setDate function. And we can just provide it the value of the getDate function's results plus 1. It keeps it super easy for us. We don't have to do a lot of convoluted processing ourselves. And if you use that and you end up reaching the end of a month, it actually overflows into the next month automatically for you. And I guess we can test that out and see it here, but it does the same thing for the end of the year. If you wrap over the, end of the month at the last month of the year, aka, December 31st, it should roll over into January of next year. So we'll go ahead and call the today setDate function at the end of the loop, and we'll give it today.getDate plus 1 as its value. As far as the URL itself that it is giving us, let's push that into an array of URLs out here. And after this loop, let's go ahead and log it out and make sure that the date formatting is working how I expected it to. And if not, we'll figure something else out, I suppose. But all right, we're logging out that array of URLs. And then, cool, it looks like it has built up everything successfully. So today's date, and then the next few days. Excellent. May as well, let's see, try out the wrapping of the month and the year all in one fell swoop. Cool. And it's excellent, doing just what we expected it to. Great. So like I said, I'm still going to use 7 for the time being, just because I don't want to have to wait on like 30 network requests all at once to finish execution. So we'll keep it quick while we're testing. And then once we've got all the functionality that we'd like working, we can then just go ahead and let it loose and like maybe even try a year's worth of requests. I doubt they post answers that far in advance, but it very well may be that that's what they do. So I'm going to call promise.all here just because we do have just a bulk amount of network requests that we need to run. And so what we're actually going to provide promise.all here is an array of calls to fetch. So we're going to map over our URLs. So map for each URL, and we will return a call to fetch with that URL. And so once all of those resolve, we'll have a mega array of those metadata results objects from fetch. And so what I'm actually going to return here from within this promise chain is another promise not all. And within this, we're going to map over every one of the responses. And for every res, we return a call to res.json just so we can get that parsed data. So responses.map. For each res, we return res.json. And we'll go ahead and just console log the data just to make sure I'm getting what we're expecting. So this should be an array of the objects with like the ID, the solution, the author name, and some other properties, the date, and the days since launch. But oh yeah, spoiler alert, I'm assuming if you're watching a video about cheating at Wordle, you would probably assume that at the very least, if you're finding this the day it was released, you get today's clue spoiled. But you're probably watching this several days after it's released, so hopefully this doesn't spoil too much, but you know, spoiler alert, we have spoilers. Okay, so that's our data. I kind of want to present it in a nicer format. I really just want like the date and the answer, and I kind of would rather have the date be like a key and the solution be the value, so we can make like a mega answers object. So let me do that. So the key is going to be the print date, which is stored as a string, and then its value is going to be the solution, which is also a string. All right. So we'll do a for each loop for the data, and for each answer object, like sub answer object, I could call it for each solution, but like I'm getting in like weird naming conventions here. I don't want to say like for each like answers at answer.printDate is equal to answer.solution. It feels kind of clunky. I'm just going to go ahead and destructure out the property names. I usually don't destructure properties within function arguments too terribly much outside of the context of like a React functional component, but syntactically it kind of makes the most sense here. Just makes for a more readable bit of code. So I'm going to extract out the solution. Goodness, let me copy that. That's probably the worst typo I've ever done live. Wow. And then I'll go ahead and copy the print date as well. So now that we have each one of those, answer at print date is equal to, answers at print date is equal to solution. And then we can console log answers after this. And let's see how that turns out. And that's a pretty nice looking format. I'm actually glad we did that instead of just like leaving it as a giant array. It just reads out very cleanly. Let's see how far we can go with this. I want to see how many days in advance we can do. So yeah, spoiler alert, if you actually play Wordle and you care about this at all, then you probably should not be watching this, or cut the video off at this point since you see the code to get it working. And don't need to see anything further, but let's go 3 weeks out and see how far in advance they go. All right, 21 network requests, easy peasy. Did that pretty quick. Start incrementing by 1 week. So let's see if they go 4 weeks out. Seemingly so. Okay, so we're into 2023 already, 5 weeks out. Let's take a big jump again. Let's go to 2 months. See if they go 2 months in advance. All right, so we're starting to get undefined as a key. So we have some bad responses. So we know that it goes just to the 28th of January. So yeah, if you're watching this in February 2023 or further, great. But if you have not, if you're watching this beforehand, I'll try to make something in the description or title indicate that, hey, you know, spoilers be here, watch out, beware. So we've got all of those answers now, and we've got the key of undefined, value of undefined for the missing data. So in order to find how many days in advance we have, we can console log down here. Let's see. We have clues days in advance. So we need to get the length of the object, but length is not a property inherently on the object prototype. We could convert it to another data type like a map or something, but I believe a map only takes unique keys. We do have unique keys in this instance. Actually, I don't know about that. Scratch that, never mind. But in this instance, I'm just going to use something like object keys to get the amount of keys in the object. And so we're actually going to take that number, get that array length itself, and subtract 2. Because I'm saying days in advance, and I don't want today to count for that, so we're going to subtract 1, so we have future dates, and 2, we have this undefined data at the bottom, and so that's just for dates that don't exist. So we don't even have to like transform answers into another structure per se. We can use object.keys to return an array of all of its keys for us. And that will tell us the amount of days in the future we have. So 50 days in advance. Not too bad, not too bad. So obviously they've got a good little backlog prepared, but yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this too. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how you can abuse this code in order to scrape their API until they run out of answers. And if you enjoyed this video and or haven't seen the previous one, make sure you go to our channel and subscribe so you can see that video and other cool videos we do. Catch y'all later.